Congratulations on your graduation. That is a huge achievement and you should be so proud. But here's one thing that no one really tells you. Graduating is not just the end of school, it's the moment your financial life actually begins. Whether you're taking on a minimum wage job or you're stepping into a high-paying job, the decisions that you're going to make in the next 6 to 12 months, how you spend, how you save, how you invest, and think about money can either put you years ahead of your peers or they can quietly set you back without even you realizing it. So today I'm going to give you the financial talk that most people wish they had, and to the parents out there, this is the same advice that I've given to my two boys. The moment your first real paycheck hits, you have a window, a very small window, before the lifestyle catches up with your income, before the car payment hits, before the subscriptions pile up. You have a chance to set the defaults that will run in the background of your financial life for decades. So here's what you need to do right away. The first thing you need to do is open up a Roth IRA. If you have earned income from a job, any kind of job, whether it's washing dishes or walking a dog, you can contribute up to $7,000 a year into your Roth IRA. Now, you don't get a tax deduction for that contribution, but that money grows completely tax-free and you never pay tax on the gains when you pull it out during retirement. The reason why this matters so much right now is because of time. A dollar invested at 18 is worth dramatically more than a dollar invested at age 35. You literally cannot buy any more time in the market. You can open up that Roth IRA either at Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard. Start small, even with just $50 a month. The important thing is to just get started. Automate your savings. Don't rely on willpower. Set up an automatic transfer into your investment account the same day you get paid. You pay yourself first and then you live off what's left over. If you wait to invest until after you've paid your bills, then there's never anything left over to save. This simple habit forces you to live off less. Your goal should be to save 20% of your gross income. Now, gross income is before you pay taxes. So for example, if your monthly income is $1,000, you should aim to save $200 per month. This $200 will be your target monthly savings goal. Start building your credit right away. Get one credit card and then use it for everything you buy, such as gas or groceries, but then pay it off at the end of every month. Pay the entire amount. Never carry a balance. Your credit score is going to affect your mortgage rate, how much you're going to pay for a mortgage rate, your car insurance, and even some job applications. You want to build your credit early and you want to protect it. Never miss a payment for any reason. Now, I know unexpected expenses come up, but that's why you have an emergency fund. Start an emergency fund right away. An emergency fund is like cash just sitting in a bank account. Now, ideally, it's cash that's in a high-yield savings account, but it's not easily accessible to you, so that way you're not tempted to tap into it. Now, this cash is only for emergencies because life just happens when we least expect it. Your car may break down, or you may have an unexpected medical bill, or God forbid you lose your job. This is what that emergency fund is for. Now, without this emergency fund, everyone will just put those expenses on their credit card, and then that's when the trouble happens. Your emergency fund should have between 3 and 6 months of living expenses. So for example, if your living expenses are $1,000 a month, you should have between $3,000 and $6,000 in your savings account. Now, of course, you don't build this overnight. What you want to do is allocate a part of your target monthly savings towards your emergency fund. So if your target monthly savings is $200 a month, put $100 into your emergency fund and then put the other $100 into an investment account. Once your emergency fund is funded and you've got between 3 and 6 months of living expenses saved in there, then start allocating the entire $200 into your investment account. So how do you decide if your emergency fund should be 3 months, 6 months, or even longer? Well, you want to take these into consideration. How consistent is your income? If you have a pretty stable job, then 3 months of living expenses is sufficient in your emergency fund. But if you're 100% commission, then it should be at least 6 months, maybe even a year in your emergency fund. Also, another thing to consider is if you have a strong social safety net, meaning can you rely on your family to help you if you're in a bind? And if so, then your emergency fund should be at least shorter. If you're on your own and there's nobody else that can help you out, then you want to build a fatter emergency fund. Ditch the budget. Forget about budgeting because budgeting doesn't work. I've been doing this for over 20 years and I've seen people create budgets only to break them. The reality is that budgeting stresses people out and requires tremendous amount of oversight. Highly successful people set out a target savings goal and then gradually increase it over time. A good rule of thumb is to save 20% of your income, and then that is the amount that should be saved. So for example, if you're making $100,000 a year, you should save and invest $20,000 of that income. Now, how you spend the remaining $80,000 doesn't matter because you've already paid yourself first. And as your income grows, so should your target savings rate. That's how you build wealth. Now that the foundation is set, let's talk about the trap that catches almost everyone. Here's what happens to most people once they get a raise. They upgrade their apartment, they get a nicer car, they start going out more, their life gets a little more expensive every year. Next thing you know, they've increased their expenses more than their raise. And somehow, no matter how much they make, they never seem to get ahead. This is what's known as lifestyle inflation, and it's not a discipline problem, it's just what happens when your spending rises faster than your income. The fix for lifestyle inflation is simple, but it requires intention on your part. Every time your income goes up, increase your savings percentage first before you change your spending. So for example, if you get a $500 a month raise, put $300 into your investments and then spend the remaining $200 without feeling guilty. If you do that consistently for 10 years, you will be amazed by the results. Okay, now that we've talked about laying the foundation, let's pivot over to taxes. No expense will take more money out of your hands over your lifetime than taxes. Not your mortgage, not your car, not your student loans, it's taxes. And the crazy thing is, with a little planning, taxes are the one thing that you have the most control over. The first thing to understand about taxes is the difference between gross and net pay. Gross pay is what your employer agrees to pay you, but your net pay is what actually goes into your bank account after your taxes are paid. Every time you get paid, the following taxes are deducted from your paycheck. Social Security, which is 6.2%, Medicare, which is 1.45%. Now, these are called payroll taxes. But on top of that, you also have to set aside some money for your federal and your state income taxes too. Each paycheck withholds some money for the federal and state income taxes. Now, keep in mind, these are just estimates because you don't know what your total tax liability is going to be until you actually prepare your taxes in April. How much you withhold from your paycheck is totally up to you. But if you withhold too little, then you're going to owe money in April when you file your taxes, and you're going to have to pay penalties and interest. But if you withhold too much, and then you're going to get a refund because you've overpaid your taxes. With the right planning, you can reduce your tax bill either now or in the future, and while still hitting your investment goals. See, most employers offer a 401k plan, which is an account to save for retirement. You decide how much you want to contribute from each paycheck into your 401k plan. And if you're lucky, your employer matches some of your contributions. That means if you contribute $1, your employer also contributes $1 into your account for you. If you're fortunate to have a match from your employer, you should absolutely contribute to your 401k because that's free money and you should take advantage of it. Your 401k plan may offer you a choice between a regular 401k or a Roth 401k. And here's the difference between the two. With a regular 401k, you get a tax deduction now, and that money that you put in there grows tax deferred. And then you pay tax on it later when you take it out during retirement. But with a Roth 401k, you don't get a tax deduction up front when you put the money in, but that money grows completely tax-free. With so many different types of investment accounts, such as 401ks and IRAs, which one should you fund first? Well, as your income grows, your goal should be to maximize your retirement accounts. But the order that you maximize them matters. First, you want to contribute towards your 401k at least enough to capture the full employer match, because that's free money and you should always take advantage of that first. The next thing you want to do is max out your Roth IRA. And after you've done that, if you still have money left over and you still have some savings, then you want to open up a taxable brokerage account and keep investing in there. Now that's the sequence, and if you follow it in that order, you'll never leave money on the table. You just started your career. You don't have to be perfect with money. You just have to build good habits now, because doing so will pay off for you exponentially as you get older. Get into the habit of saving at least 20% of your income. Build that emergency cash account. Start investing in a 401k or a Roth IRA or that brokerage account. And again, congratulations on your graduation. Now go conquer the world. Hey, if you have a question on anything I discussed in this video, or if you want a topic that you want me to cover in a future video, be sure to leave it in the comment section below.